Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a review of the OBSBOT Tiny webcam. Now, one thing you will notice right from the start of this video is it's going to be a little bit different today because I'm using the OBSBOT Tiny to film the entire review. Because if I'm talking about a webcam that's got a good quality video, why not just film the whole review on the webcam? So the OBSBOT Tiny, or OBSBOT, I don't know how you pronounce it, is basically an AI-powered webcam. Now this means it uses artificial intelligence to do things like focus in on a subject and allow you to move around whilst you're on the camera. It also uses AI to improve audio quality and to allow you to do gesture control. And I'm going to talk about all of those features throughout this video. So let's start off, as I always do, by talking about the design and the specification. So the OBSBOT Tiny is pretty small. It's got rounded edges and a circular base. The whole design is packed with curves and it kind of looks like a little robot, which, to be fair, it kind of is. It has a black finish and the front of it has a strip status light. This tells you things like when there is a subject in focus. The base of it has a fit-in where you can put a screw in if you want to use a tripod with it. There's the option just to freestand it on your desk, and it also comes with a mount for your monitor or laptop. Now this mount is adjustable, which means basically as long as your laptop or your monitor's got a flat back, you can fit it on it. Once you've attached it, it's pretty secure and the camera just clips on by a magnet. The back of the camera has a USB-C port and that connects to the standard USB port on your computer. The actual camera itself has a built-in gimbal, and this is what allows it to have smooth movements as you walk around. And then in case you're worried about a camera looking at you all the time and following you around wherever you go, it also has a privacy mode, and you can activate that just by pointing the camera down. And then in terms of video quality, it can shoot up to 1080p video. This makes it a full HD camera and it can support up to 30 frames per second. It's got a reasonably wide angle, as you can tell, and that is in fact a 90-degree field of view. And then finally, in terms of zoom, it supports up to 2x digital zoom. And then the AI features of the camera also help with auto exposure and white balance. That means that you look clear on the video regardless of the light settings going on in the room. So as I'm filming this, it's beginning to get a tiny bit dark outside, it's clouded over and I've got the light on, but it still looks pretty reasonable. And then in terms of audio, it's got built-in dual directional mics. And again, it uses the AI to noise cancel around you and focus in on your voice. Now I haven't actually recorded the audio on the bot for this video just because I needed something that was a bit louder and a bit closer to me for the sake of making a video. For video calls, however, it's absolutely perfect. And then finally for spec, let's talk about the gimbal features. It has a pan range of 150 degrees, which means you can walk very far in this direction. And then you can also walk quite far in this direction. This isn't the full range, I'm just moving a little bit to show you how it works. And then in terms of going up and down, it's got a 90-degree range for that kind of direction, which again means I could be up here, but I could also crouch down and it will still follow me. And I can go from standing to sitting and it doesn't really matter, it just follows me around. Of course, there is a small delay, so you probably don't want to move too quickly from up to down. And then finally, we should probably talk about price. And it retails at £199 on Amazon, although there's quite regularly £20 off vouchers. This puts it really up there towards the high end of the webcam market. However, it is packed with features and it is very much a unique product in terms of having those gimbal features. So how easy is it to set up? So setting up the OBSBOT Tiny is as simple as taking it out of the box and plugging it into your computer. From there, it works straight away with applications like Zoom and FaceTime and all your usual video apps. For this video, I've just opened QuickTime on my Mac and I'm just recording a movie through that. If, however, you want to take advantage of those AI features, so the ability for it to follow you around and improve your audio, then you need to download the OBSBOT app. You can get the app for Windows and Mac. And then to use those features, you just need to make sure that app is open at the same time as the app you're recording in. So I've got the OBSBOT app open and also QuickTime Player open recording my movie. So I've given you a bit of a taster at using it, but let's talk a bit more about using it on a day-to-day basis. Now I've been using this for the last couple of weeks for all of my kind of work Zoom meetings, and I'm still working from home, so it's something I'm on quite a lot. And the main thing I found is I have been really impressed by this camera. And in all of my calls, both the sound and video quality have been absolutely spot on. My video has been clear regardless of the light settings, and then my audio has also been crisp and clear. That AI ability to cancel out some of the noise around you is particularly useful, especially when there's lots of drilling going on at one point further down my road during a work call. It's also worth noting that I've come across at a good volume. And I don't know what you guys have found about making video calls in the past, but I've found that sometimes if you're wearing AirPods whilst you come across clearly, you sound a bit like you're in a fishbowl, and then other cameras just don't pick up your audio at all. And all of those things about sound quality and video quality are absolutely key when working from home. But of course, there's those other AI features that I mentioned. So let's talk about those a little bit. So firstly, for me, the coolest thing is those gimbal features that let it follow you around. I love that I can just start walking and talking and it can follow me around the room and it keeps track of me. It being able to go up and down is also really useful. If you do find during a call that you do just want to kind of lock those in, you can do that in the app as well. There's also the option in the app to go for zoom in, and this is what zoom in looks like. And as you can see with the zoom, because it's set to focus on my face, the camera is adjusting as it goes, so the top of my head is pretty much always in frame. And then as I zoom out, it just adjusts again. This of course is really useful if you're kind of in a meeting and you like to move around a bit just to kind of keep yourself moving. But it's also really useful if you do training because it gives you that freedom to stand up and present and walk around, which you do if you're on an in-person training event, but you can't do quite so easily normally when you've just got a normal webcam. And in all of that, as you've seen throughout this video, the movements are smooth and controlled and really quite impressive. And then the other AI features are to do with video quality and audio quality. And they're quite difficult to talk about other than to say that audio comes across nice and clearly, as I've mentioned throughout this video, and that the lighting settings also work really well. And so this is just a small sample piece of video with the audio being recorded from the OBSBOT Mini, just so you can hear what the sound quality of the camera is really like. And I think it comes across really clearly, and I also think it's really good at cancelling out all kinds of background noise. And of course, one of the key things with all of these settings is how it works in the app. And if I'm being completely honest, the app is a thing that lets it down very slightly. So the main screen of the app, where you can control the camera and move it around and lock it in place, is actually quite good and it's quite intuitive. You know that the zoom control is going to zoom, you know that moving those little buttons is going to do that, and you can lock it in and reset it, and that's really useful. The settings, however, are slightly more clunky to get your head around, and I found that to get things like the movement working properly just took a little bit of playing around with the settings. There's also the option for gestures, and there's two key gestures that it supports. One gesture is to kind of reset or kind of stop the focus on someone, which you do by holding your hand up like this. When that happens, the blue light of the camera adjusts and it basically stops following you around. So I've decided that at the moment I don't want it to follow me around and it's not doing that. But if I was to move back and I was to do this again, it now follows me around once again, and that's the gesture controls. The second gesture control is for zoom control, and that's done using a kind of an L shape. So you can do that to zoom in, and you can do that to zoom out. Now, one of the things I did find, particularly with the zoom control, is that it's a little bit tricky just to get used to it. And if you zoom in too much so that more of your hand is exposed across the screen, it doesn't necessarily pick it up to zoom out again and you have to move back a bit. But all of that being said, is the OBSBOT Tiny any good? Now for me, I think the OBSBOT Tiny is a really good product for a couple of key reasons. And you've probably guessed those throughout this video. But the first key reason is the quality of the audio and the quality of the video. And for me, external webcams tend to be quite good at video a lot of the time and then fall apart when it comes to audio. That's not the case with the OBSBOT Tiny. That's helped by those AI features to kind of really help cancel out the noise around you. If I'm being honest, that's what I'd expect for a £200 webcam. Secondly, there are so many extra really fun features. And they're not just gimmicks. The gimbal features actually give you the ability to move around on your video calls. That's especially useful when you want to express yourself a bit more, but also just because sitting around all the time isn't necessarily good for you. And if you're on a lot of video calls throughout the day, it gives you that flexibility to move around and stretch your legs and stretch your spine a bit. Of course, if you do a job that involves lots of training, it also gives you that space to kind of really express yourself and present something. Overall, when we live in a time where a decent webcam is an absolute essential, the OBSBOT is something that you certainly want to have a look at. On a really practical note, they've really thought through the practicalness of this product, and being able to mount it on your monitor or laptop, or just put it on your desk or use it with a tripod are all things that are really useful and make it really versatile. The only real downside to this camera, in my opinion, is the app that takes a little bit of getting used to, and it would be nice to see it be a bit more intuitive and see it improve over time. And then if I'm being really picky, for a £200 camera, I'd have sort of liked to see 4K video support. It has, however, left me intrigued about the OBSBOT Tool camera, which is one designed for vlogging and moving out and about, and it'd be really interesting to see how that compares to this. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, do stick them below and I will try and answer those. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I've also put a link below if you want to pick one up. That is an affiliate link, which means if you do make a purchase, I will get a small percentage from Amazon. That just helps me keep running this channel, and it never has an impact on what I say in reviews. In full interest of being completely honest with you guys, as I always try and be, this camera was actually provided to me by OBSBOT to review. That hasn't influenced my review at all, and I'm always really clear with companies that I work with that I will not say things that aren't true about their products, and if it is rubbish, I will say that. Luckily, in this case, this is actually a really good product. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys again soon.